up, guys? Welcome to episode 120 of the Monday Night Wars. I am Chad Talks, and joining me, as always, is the man who is going to face Booby Rude at Starcade, Jmack Gaming.
Booby Rude?
Booby Rude.
Booby Rude.
Booby Rude, brother.
That reminds me of the greatest show of all time, SpongeBob SquarePants, Don't At Me. And when SpongeBob's like tracing his steps back, and then Patrick calls him SpongeBoob, and he starts dying.
SpongeBoob? Who's SpongeBoob?
Alright. Alright. Episode 120.
SpongeBoob.
WCW.
The Second Thunder.
And let's run it.
Let's run it indeed. In our first pre-show match.
Oh, man.
That Justin made an 8-minute spectacle between the Warrior and Stevie Richards, where the Warrior won with a big splash.
Look, man, I thought it was going to be a great match, and it didn't. It wasn't.
I thought it was going to be magic myself, but oh well.
All right, we move on to the next segment.
And in our second pre-show match, the Faces of Fear defeat Rick Martel and Lanny Poffo, Team Old Men.
Team Old Man? Oh.
And the Faces of Fear win.
Well, they don't work well as a team, so I think you're going to have to break them up.
Oh, man, we're going to have to break up Team Old Man.
Oh, man.
I have big plans for Rick Martel and Lanny Poffo.
Hope you guys just didn't buy your new Team Old Man shirt, because they're going to break up.
They're going to break up next week. All right, in our pre-show main event, Fit Finlay defeated Lance Storm with a Tombstone Pile Driver.
Hell yeah. My man, Finlay.
Finlay. Getting it done.
All right, let's go. Next segment.
And we start the show off. Bret the Hitman Hart comes out. He grabs a microphone and he goes, "How come Nitro got to be in Canada, but I'm here in the DC Verizon Center and performing in front of all you idiot Americans?
My bad.
I should be in Canada because all of the great wrestlers come from Canada. Except for my fellow Canadian, Chris Benoit. You see, Chris Benoit is the exception to the rule. All right, he is not Canada's finest export. All right, he's that Canadian that we like to pretend doesn't exist and just cut him out of all the history books and just Chris Benoit who? That's what I like to do with Chris Benoit. And now I have to face him at Starcade. I have to lower myself to Chris Benoit and fight for the first ever WCW Universal Championship. They should just be giving it to me. They should just coronate me the champion right now because I'm Bret Hart and I'm the best there is, the best there was. And then Chris Benoit's music hits. And Chris Benoit gets down the ring and he goes, "Bret, I don't care what you think of me. I don't care if you think I'm a bad wrestler. I don't care if you say I'm the biggest disgrace to ever come out of Canada. But one thing that you will not say is that I should be cut from the history books and pretend like I don't exist. I know how good of a wrestler I am. These people know how good of a wrestler I am. And come Starcade, Bret, you're going to know how good of a wrestler I am because I'm going to make you tap out in the middle of this ring, in the grandest stage of them all, in the biggest wrestling show in the world, Starcade, and I'm going to become the first ever Universal Champion. And tonight, you and I, we're getting partners, and we're facing off in a tag team match. And Bret, it doesn't matter who you get as your partner, because it's going to be the same result. I'm going to tap you out in the middle of the ring."
Here we go. Let's handle some changes. We got his new gimmick. Man on a mission. It's awful.
Oh no, Benoit. Oh no.
What an awful gimmick, Benoit.
What an awful boo. Alright, so we go to commercial, we come back and Lodi and Sick Boy are in the ring. Lodi goes, "Yo, yo, yo, it's the Low Down with your boy Lodi."
Okay, I'm gonna call copyright because that's D-Lo's gimmick, alright?
And this is my main man, the sickest man in the ring, Sick Boy. Now look, last week we didn't get the job done, all right? But this week we are going to show those two bozos, Sick Boy yells, "Bozos!" And then Lodi goes, those two bozos, Vader and Scott Steiner, what happens when you mess with the two hottest acts in WCW, Low D and Sick Boy. Now, Vader, Scott Steiner, I want to tell you guys that once you guys get beaten by us, maybe you guys can get back to the end of the line, because there's only one room for one tag team destroyers around here, and it's ya boys. And then Vader and Scott Steiner come out, and and in a short match, Vader and Scott Steiner defeat Low D and Sick Boy in 521 when Vader defeats Low D with a power bomb.
Vader left for this.
We go, the match is over. There's now an angle. Vader grabs a microphone and he says, Scott, I just want to say that when I left Nitro, it was because I was scorned by a former friend. I came here with the hopes of making something for myself and maybe finding a new friend. And Scott, I know we've only teamed together twice, but I really think you could be my new best friend. He says, so I want to give you something. And he goes under the ring and he pulls out a present. He says, I knew we were going to win tonight, so I wanted to get you something to celebrate.
Wait, what?
And Scott opens up the package and he picks it up, and it's a sleeveless shirt, and it says, new best friends on it.
Freaking livid right now.
And
what are you doing?
And Vader says, Scott, will you be my new best friend? And Scott looks at him. He takes his sunglasses and goes, you big fat piece of shit! And he throws the t-shirt at him. Why the hell would Scott Steiner be friends with you? Scott Steiner doesn't want to be a tag team guy. Scott Steiner wants to be the guy. Scott Steiner wants to be main eventing Starrcade for the Universal title, not teaming with big fat pieces of shit like you and being the opening match of the show. I'm better than that. I'm the man. And he power bombs Scott Vader on top of the t-shirt.
Nice.
And that's the end of that promo. Vader, flabbergasted. We go backstage. Ric Flair's like, watching what just happened. He's like, man, I am appalled. I cannot believe that just happened. And Horace Hogan comes in his office, and he's like, who the hell are you? And he goes, I'm Horace Hogan. You know, you drafted me. And Rick goes, I did? And he's like, yes, I am on your roster. I am Horace Hogan, you know, Hulk Hogan's nephew. And he's just like, doesn't ring any bells. And Horace, you know, at this point he's getting really mad. He's like, well, you know what, Rick? You know what? You're going to regret the day you forgot who Horace Hogan is. All right? Because you didn't put me on the card last week to wrestle. And that, Rick, is an utter disgrace. And Rick says, well, yeah, I didn't know you were a wrestler. Why would I book somebody who I didn't know was a wrestler to wrestle? And Horace is like, well, how about this, all right? How about I go down to the ring, you pick an opponent out for me, and I'll beat him. And I'll embarrass him in the middle of the ring and show you exactly what happens when you mess with Horace Hogan. And he walks out of the ring, and Rick goes, who was that guy? So we go back to we go to commercial. We come back. Horace Hogan is in the middle of the ring. He's getting ready. And then all of a sudden, Big Daddy V's music hits. And Horace Hogan is terrified because this massive, massive man is making his way down to the ring. But in a subpar wrestling match with little heat, Horace Hogan defeats Big Daddy V with a roll-up. Jeez, dude, what happened was Horace Hogan was in the match and he was wrestling, and all of a sudden Raven's music hits, and Big Daddy V looks up looking for Raven. And then Raven rolls him up for the 1-2, and Horace Hogan rolls him up for the 1-2-3. Horace Hogan is 1-0 in Thunder Brother.
Never did I think Horace Hogan would be 1-0. But here we are.
So Horace is celebrating in the ring, and then he gets laid out by the nation.
Forgot to put Horace in this.
That's okay. They all come out and they just destroy him. They each take turns hitting their finishing moves on him. And Ahmed, with his hardcore title, grabs a microphone and he goes, the nation is above Horace Hogan. The nation is above Sabu. The nation is above Raven. And am Saturn, and I am above Dean Malenko. We should be taking on Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash. We should be facing Sting for the world title. I should at least be fighting for the Universal title. I am the man. The Nation, we're the best. We're a brotherhood. And we are going to make Thunder our playground. It's going to be a warpath. We are going to destroy anybody who tries to stifle the Nation, because the Nation will not be stopped. Rick, you made a poor decision becoming the general manager here, because I beat you once, and if I have to put you down again, like the old dog you are, well, I'll do it. Because we are the Nation. And he puts his fist up, and they all put their fists up.
We are the Nation.
And they all pose. And then all of a sudden, they're in the ring and they're posing, and Raven's music hits. And they all look at the Titantron, and Raven goes, you know, for people who really talk a big game, I don't really see you guys fighting your own battles. You know, I see a lot of you guys, you know, relying on other people to win for you. Now, don't get me wrong. I know what it's like to lead a stable. I know what it's like to have my little cronies win matches for me too, Ahmed. You know, so I don't fault you for that. What I do fault you for, though, is disgracing guys like Ric Flair, like a fighting champion like Dean Malenko, like a hardcore veteran like Sabu, and more importantly, like by disgracing me. You see, I'm one half of the WCW Tag Team Champions, and Sabu's not here tonight because he's fulfilling obligations for New Japan, because, you know, WCW and New Japan have a working agreement. So it's just me tonight. But I don't need Saturn to back me up here, because I'm Raven. I can do it all on my own. And even though I'm not booked to wrestle tonight, I will be booked to wrestle at Starrcade when I defend the tag team titles against Stevie Ray, a tag team legend, and Ron Killings, the future of WCW. And you guys are going to truly learn just how sadistic and violent and just how crazy Raven can be when I give you the beatdown of your lives and prove why not only did you make a big mistake breaking up my flock, not only did you make a big mistake costing Ric Flair his in-ring career, but you made an even bigger mistake when you messed with Raven. And that's the promo.
The future. Wow. Raven putting over Ron Killings.
Putting over Ron Killings, brother. All right, so we come back. Chris Jericho's in the ring, and he goes, Jerichoholics! And the crowd boos. Welcome to the first episode of the best talk show on Thunder, the highlight reel. Here, we're going to ask the hard-hitting questions, all right? It's not going to be like Steiner Shoots. It's not going to be like that terrible show, Hey Yo. It's going to be must-see TV. It's going to be like Regis and Kelly, like The Springer Show, like all those great talk shows combined and put on and blown up to a 10. Hosted by the former television champion and the man who beat Goldberg 3 times, Chris Jericho. My first guest is the man who is a pioneer in this industry. Not only did he end the streak of Goldberg, but he also single-handedly thought of the upcoming Starrcade match, the Money in the Bank on a pole. My first guest is the great Chris Jericho. Chris, how does it feel to be the best wrestler in WCW? Well, Chris, and great show, by the way. It feels good to be the best, because, you know, I'm the best in the world at what I do, and I'm going to win that Money in the Bank contract, and I'm going to cash it in, and I'm going to be a future world champion. And who knows, maybe I'll cash it in after Goldberg and Sting. And maybe, who knows, maybe I'll beat Goldberg for a 4th time. Or maybe I'll do what Randy Savage couldn't do, and I'll beat Sting. Or maybe I'll wait. And whichever one of those two Chris Jericho wannabes, Bret Hart or Chris Benoit, win the Universal Championship. Maybe the next night on Thunder, when they're celebrating, when their guard is down, I'll crack that briefcase over their skull and I'll become the Universal Champion. Well, Chris, I gotta say, those are some big plans. But let me ask you this: before you can even, get to the briefcase, you got to win the match. And I'm telling you right now, there were 4 Raw guys that qualified. Rey Mysterio, Lex Luger, Kurt Hennig, and Randy, and you got to pass. So that only leaves one other spot, and that's 2 Thunder guys and 4 Nitro guys. Chris, what's up with that? Well, Mr. Jericho, again, you're looking as handsome as ever, by the way. Oh, thanks, Chris. But Mr. Jericho, I don't know why there's such an uneven number of Thunder and Nitro guys, but they could have 60 Nitro guys and 1 Chris Jericho, and I would show why Nitro is the inferior show to Thunder, why Thunder is the best, and why Thunder is must-see TV, because anywhere Chris Jericho is at is must-see TV. So I will win this Sunday, and it's going to be great, and I am going to represent Thunder, not that other guy who's feuding for Thunder's glory, not that idiot Scott Hall. He is going to lose to Kevin Nash at Starrcade, and it is going, hey yo. Scott Hall's music hits. Scott Hall comes down to the ring and he goes, listen, I don't know what you think is happening here, but Ric Flair let me do the honors of hosting Hey Yo tonight, and I didn't really know when I was gonna do it, but this show's putting me to sleep. So let's have it right now. He gets in the ring and he goes, Chris, I don't like the way you're running your mouth and saying that you're the best wrestler in Thunder, because you're not, brother. Scott Hall is the best wrestler in Thunder. All right? And I'm going to do to Kevin Nash what I'm going to do to you tonight. And that's beat you in the middle of the ring and embarrass you and prove why I am the best.
So we move on to the match?
So we move on to the match. Chris Jericho, Scott Hall. And in a superb match with good heat, Chris Jericho defeats Scott Hall with a lion tamer.
Nice.
Basically what happened was, because I couldn't get him technically I couldn't get him on the show because he's on Nitro, but so, Kevin Nash runs in and he big boots Scott Hall, and then Jericho is then able to put the submission on him and tap him out. Moving on to a backstage segment. The Road Warriors are basically just talking shit about Barbarian and Meng and saying, you weren't here this week. We were ready to fight. So how about next week we do this again? How about you guys fight us next week, and we'll see who the better tag team is, and we'll show why these old dogs have some new tricks. This is a decent little promo. And a decent match, Ahmed defeats Sabu with a pinfall with a spine buster. Tommy Dreamer ran in and attacked Sabu, brother. Tommy Dreamer hit his friend, his best buddy Sabu. What's up with this, Justin? I don't know, but I do know that Ahmed makes defense number 3 of the WCW Hardcore title.
This was going to be the main event.
This was going to be the main event. Thank God it wasn't.
Alright, let's move on to the next segment.
And about that decent wrestling, but not much heat, Dean Malenko defeats Just Incredible with a Texas Cloverleaf.
Okay. Decent little match for Dean Malenko.
Decent little match. But then Ahmed is back! Hits him in the head with the Hardcore title. And then picks up the United States Championship. And he holds them both high, posing over the unconscious body of Dean Malenko.
All right.
Nations all over the place, brother. We have another video hyping up the soon-to-debut Conan.
All right. Oh, boy.
And in our main event, Bret Hart and Alex Wright defeat Chris Benoit and Diamond Dallas Page in 11:41 when Alex Wright defeats DDP with using the ropes. Now, good thing that, even though Alex Wright cheated to win, It says that Bret Hart and Alex Wright don't work well, but at least they'll never have to team together again, right, J-Mac?
Right.
Right, so we go to the next segment. Ric Flair hits the ring and he says,
Woo!
"Woo! Alex Wright, you're the man that my friend Arn Anderson has been clamoring for, talking up so much since coming here, and then you cheat to win. You cheat to beat DDP. That's not how we do it here. And if you're going to be a star, then you need to learn that's not how you do it. You don't cheat to win, all right?" And Alex Wright looks at him like, "What? You're Ric Flair. Like, why are you telling me not to cheat?" Like, and he's like, "Fuck you." And Ric Flair's like, "Fuck me. Fuck you." And then he says, "I'm gonna restart this match. How's that? You know what? We're gonna restart it right now. That win did not count. Ring the bell. We're restarting it."
All right. So next segment.
So next segment.
This one did a lot better, but then
This one
Bret
did a
Hart
lot
broke his
better.
nose.
Oh no!
That's not good.
That's not good at all. And a good match. Chris
Oh.
Benoit and DDP defeat Alex Wright and Diamond Dallas Page when DDP defeated Alex Wright with a diamond cutter. And then Bret Hart broke his nose. Oh no.
I hope he's not out for Starrcade.
Me too. That would be really unfortunate. I'm laughing to hide my fear.
All right, that
Right.
was a
That was
80.
Thunder. Gotta be. I bet it does better than your Thunder.
I don't have a Thunder.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys, that was episode 120, I think, at this point. Leave a like, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you for episode 121, where I will show Chad that Monday Night Raw is better than Thursday Night Nitro, Night Thunder. And I show that Bret Hart's broken nose just means he's a bitch.
Oh no.
And remember,
And remember,
fuck the Hardys.